Hey, Childcare CEOs. All right, we are on day 3 of the Childcare CEO Money Mini-Series. We're talking all things childcare finances, which can be a deep conversation, but is absolutely necessary. So, not sure if this is the first video that you are seeing from me regarding this mini-series. If that is the case, go back and check out video 1 and 2. So just to remind everyone, day 1, we talked about true cost of care. That is the foundation. So you definitely want to start there. Day 2, we talked about the enrollment mix. So again, those videos are available. I just wanted you to know that there are 2 previous videos that set the foundation for this conversation we're going to have today. So today is all about staffing. I call this one Count the Cost. And here is why. We need staff. We cannot run our childcare businesses without staff. That's just that, right? That's also the reason why it takes up most of our revenue. Industry standard is about 65 to 75% of our revenue goes to staffing costs, and that's healthy. It can go above 75% for some of us. And so this is why we're having this conversation, though, is because I'm really wanting to encourage you all to make sure that you are aware of your numbers. Because again, the numbers tell a story in our business, and it also tells us what we need to do. So if our staffing costs are above that 75%, or if it's just creating a really difficult space for you, then you want to pay attention to what's kind of happening, what makes up your staffing costs, where is it going, and I'm going to touch on some of that today. So as we're counting the costs, here's what we're looking at. One, I always talk about my experience and, just navigating the last 18 years, what it looked like for me at the beginning and even years in. I just remember that there was kind of this rate. Here's the typical pay rate. I still remember it being like $10 an hour. And then people started getting CDAs, and then we paid an additional $1 or $2. It is totally different in 2026. I'm sure you know that. But here's what I want to say. Just like we talked about with setting our tuition rates, there are industry standards or standards according to your city, your state, your area. You want to know what those numbers are, because in order for us to be competitive or even just be in the loop of what childcare staff are typically being paid, we want to have some solid information. So I use ADP for my payroll company, and they actually have a tool within ADP, if you have it, where you can put in particular industries and the job title, and it will give you a general, like a median salary range. That way you understand. I'm in Philadelphia, so I ran it and I was able to see, well, what are the typical salaries for teachers, assistant teachers, lead teachers, right? Like you can get specific and it'll give you a general range. That way you get to say, oh, okay, I understand now what the typical salary is. Okay, and that's just information. Again, we absolutely can see what others in our area is charging. Again, that's information purposes, but I always say be careful, because we are not them, they are not us. And so we don't know what is in their rates. We don't know what's included in what they offer. So that's one. Take a look at your neighborhood, your city, your state, and what is the salary range. And sometimes that's the base range. That's just for them to work. Here's the other thing we want to think about. What benefits are we offering? That can be, a lot of times when we say benefits, here's what I think of. Paid time off, which, I group them all paid time off because we no longer have to say holiday, sick, right? It's just paid time off. But you get to define it if you like. How much PTO do you give them? Health insurance, dental insurance, vision, tuition reimbursement, childcare. Is it free? Is it 50% off? Like, what are the rates? So those are some general benefits that are typically offered, including retirement. So that might be a simple IRA. It may be 401k. So those are general ones. You also can be creative and, birthdays off and things like that. So you also want to think about, here's their salary or their hourly wage. What else do I offer them? Because in all honesty, all of that is a part of your staffing costs. It's not just their hourly rate. It is, how much am I paying out for this employee or all of my employees? Don't forget about payroll taxes. We also have employer taxes. So what I like to do, because sometimes staff think, oh my goodness, I only get paid this amount because that's my hourly wage or that's my salary. I want them to know how much I am spending on them overall. Okay. And that includes health insurance, dental insurance, like all of those things that we offer. Here is your fringe benefits package. Here is how much I actually pay on your behalf. So that's part 2, just knowing how much staff are costing you. And we want to add all of that up. So if you have 10 staff members, if you have 2 staff members, if you have 35 like I do, we want to know, here's how much I am paying for each staff person and what is that in total and what percentage is that of my revenue. That's just information. Okay. So that's the second part. The third one, which I really, really love talking about, is what is it that you actually want to make happen in your program? So I'll give you an example. Years ago, when we first started our partnership with the school district, we would get contracted slots for pre-K. And now that meant that we needed degree teachers. I knew that if I was going to be competitive or if I wanted to attract a higher caliber of staff, I needed to have a better offer, right? So it wasn't just about the salary. It was about health insurance, dental insurance. Like I mentioned, tuition reimbursement. And we also had simple IRA for years, which is retirement money, and we would match. Those type of things would help me be competitive with other organizations, with the school district, right? I could now attract them because what I started doing was in my interviews, that was a question. I made sure I asked, do you need health insurance? Like, is that a game changer? Is that like I can't take this job if you don't offer it? And I started to get people who said, I have to have health insurance. So I started to see that the only way this was going to work is if I had some additional benefits to offer, and health insurance was one. So I say all of this to say, where are you looking to take your program? Is it you're looking for higher caliber staff? Is it that you just know you need to grow staff? You need more people. At some point, we were thinking about expanding to K through 3. We were going to do kindergarten, and then we were ultimately going to go up to the 3rd grade. So my interviewing process and how we started to recruit staff looked different because I knew that I was going to need a kindergarten teacher. And I just knew that I needed to start really making sure that we had a professional program, that they saw the growth in it. Like, it just made me understand what I needed to be working on for the next 3 to 5 years. And so I say that to say, where are you right now? But where are you looking to go? Are you looking to grow your school age program? So you know you're going to need a school age teacher or something like that. And sometimes with school age teachers, they may have a full-time job and they're coming on with you part-time, but you might want someone who is from the school district or they have experience in elementary education. I'm saying all that to say, know where you're going, because that will help you decide who you need to start attracting. And sometimes attracting different people brings on new requirements, new offers. You need to be attractive to them. Okay, so think about, where am I going? Who do I need? because that will also help you determine, okay, do I need additional revenue in order to pay for health insurance, in order to pay for tuition reimbursement? Which programs can I partner with that will help pay for tuition reimbursement? In Pennsylvania, there is a program called Teach, and staff can apply to be a part of that. And we partner with them. They pay a portion, we pay a portion of the staff tuition, but there may be requirements in order for you to partner with programs that will help your staff go back to school. So if you know that you have a lot of staff who have high school diplomas or have a CDA, and you want staff to actually go back to school and get an associate's degree, then you can support that. You can have that as a benefit to say, we support you. But you have to know what it will require of you. Is that a cost? And what is that cost? And maybe now you can focus in and say, you know what? We need to increase our revenue by 10%. And if we increase our revenue by 10%, we know that 5% of that needs to go to health insurance. It needs to go to increasing salary, wages. Maybe you're going to start, I'm making it up. Maybe you're going to start giving an annual raise of 1 to 3%. Again, you get to decide, but you will need to know how much will it cost you. That way you say, okay, then we need to increase our enrollment by this number of children or by this percentage so that I can bring in this money to now offer more to staff. That's how that works. Okay. So I say all of this to say, yes, staff, it costs a lot. But if we want to turn our program around by having a different set of staff or being able to invest in the staff that we have, it's going to cost us. And it's going to cost money, time. You're going to have to get in there, spend time coaching, developing, supporting. You're going to have to find trainers, consultants, right? There's a requirement of us to turn the whole staffing situation around. I know for us, this is a whole other video and conversation, but we had to create our own internal training program. I can't wait for the people to just come. I need to be able to develop people so that if they have potential, I can bring you in. You came in with enough. I think you would be a great fit for our organization and where we're going. I can train you up. But I had to be able to develop that for myself because I'm clear about where we're going. And staff is a huge part of where we're going and the quality that we offer in our program. That was a lot. But let me wrap this up to say again, count the cost. How much is your staff currently costing you? How much is the staff that you need going to cost you? And what do you need to do to get where you want to be? Right? So think 1 year. I don't want to overwhelm you. Just think about, here's where I am right now. I told you in the previous videos, I don't care if you have paper and pencil, if you have a Google Doc, Google Sheets, they're free. That's why I'm bringing that up. Have something to where as though you are documenting and you have the information and you can see it. What's written is real. That means that it's not just in my head. It's on paper. I can see it. I can play around with it. Count your cost. Make sure it's clear. Know how much your staff is costing you right now. And if you're not happy with the staff that you have, what are you going to do about it, friend? What are you going to do? We have to take control of our businesses, and we can do this. So let's start here. Calculate your current costs. It may not be where you want it to be, but I want you to know here's the percentage of staffing costs. And again, that's salary, that's benefits, that's payroll taxes, right? That's anything that's related to staffing. If you provide lunch for them, whatever you do, every year we do annual holiday parties or end of the year, like there's a line item in my budget for staff costs. So I just want you to know what's the percentage of staffing costs in your organization. Again, industry standard, a healthy range is about 65 to 75%. Where are you? And then you get to decide, I want to reduce that, increase that, whatever. And that's how you go from there. So that's one, calculate your costs. And then don't forget, check industry standards or industry rates. You can use ADP. You can search it. Just do a little research. You can chat GPT it. Just get an idea as to in my city, state, my area, my zip code. Research all of them just to get an idea as to for teachers, assistant teachers, directors. We need to know that too, because sometimes maybe you're not paying enough to get the person you really need. So do the research. That way you get to understand, oh, here is the median range for this position, and here's how much they typically are paid. And then think about the benefits that you can offer. You have to look at your budget though. Yes, you're going to research it. You're going to understand what industry is saying, but you need to know what your budget is saying. Okay. How much can you afford? And if you find that you can't afford that and you feel like, oh my goodness, that's the reason I'm not getting the quality staff that I want, that's when we start to really put a requirement on our dollars, meaning, all right, I got to make this money work. I need to increase my revenue. And here is why. And usually when we have a why behind it, we have a different energy with it. Like I'm clear about why I need to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to keep at it. Yes, I'm tired. I'm going to keep at it. I am overwhelmed today. I'm going to keep at it. Today was a hard day. I'm going to keep at it. Because the more we put forth effort, the more results we'll see in our favor. Okay. So by doing the action items that I'm sharing with you, it helps us be clearer and it helps us move our business forward. It doesn't happen overnight. I promise you it doesn't, but it really does work. I only share what I've experienced and what I've even experienced working with other childcare owners. So calculate your costs, check the industry standards, just so you have an idea. I'm going to throw this in there. Again, I don't want to overwhelm you, but it's food for thought. I always have other resources and ways we can dig deeper. But when you start to do the research and understand how much you can afford in your budget, that's when you create a salary scale. A salary scale says, here's the lowest amount that I will offer for a director. Here's the highest amount that I can according to my budget. So when you have an interview and they ask for $35, you're like, listen, I can offer up to 30. Or when you have your budget and your salary scale, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you are developing an assistant teacher, you have a little wiggle room. Maybe you can offer the 35 because you have a lesser expense somewhere else. You can't make those informed decisions though if you don't know your numbers. So those are our action items. Research, industry, make sure you have a clear idea of the salary ranges and how much you can afford. Then you're going to calculate your costs for your staff. How much is it costing you? And divide that total cost by your revenue. You can do it by the month. It's easier. And then lastly, where are you looking to take your program in the next year? What goal is that? So is that, again, I'm looking to hire a degree teacher. Maybe that's the goal. So now everything that you're doing is focused around that. So over this next year, that is what you're looking to do. All right. That is day 3. We're talking all about staffing. Let me know how this is resonating with you. What's unclear? What questions do you have? I have endless resources, programs, just ways that we can continue to have these conversations. But I want to know what's coming up for you. Share in the chat, on YouTube, wherever you are. I do read them. Okay. So I will talk to you soon. That is day 3. We have 2 more to go. All right. Talk to you soon.